back at it. Street Fighter Alpha. So Ricky, go ahead and tell me anything you notice about this Street Fighter Alpha or this intro or any of these characters from this.
Well, right now I'm staring at a blank screen because I'm waiting for the live notice to go up. But as soon as I see it, I will gladly tell you that.
Oh, okay.
There it goes. Okay, cool. Bam.
Most confident announcer in any Street Fighter. Some Final Fight characters in this game. This is the game that bridges the gap right here.
These are the Street Fighter graphics that I remember. This is the it looks just like Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, and you know, they definitely kept the design going for a long time because it worked.
Oh yeah, like a lot of these characters. I mean, they don't have as much screen time as like say like Morgan from Darkstalkers, which is that character needed a sprite update so bad. If we get another Darkstalkers, that'd be cool.
I'm pretty sure hell's gonna freeze over before that happens. Just saying.
Armika, which I don't like her in Street Fighter V personally. Never was a really too big of a fan of Armika.
But Goki, that's all you need right there.
Oh yeah, Goki, he's fantastic. Now the version of this game that I got was the Japanese Sega Saturn version of this game, which is, like I said, my golden ticket for fighting games. This also introduced something that Capcom, I think, should bring back is the ism, or the fighting style. Every character has like you can pick one of 3 different fighting styles for each character. And they kind of like mimic other Street Fighter versions of the game. So you have your, I believe, V-ism, which is the green fighting style, and that is like the one that most people know because that is the most commonly used even today, where like, you know, Street Fighter characters have EX moves, and you can kind of super cancel. You can do like super move and cancel into another super move. Street Fighter what's that 3D ones? Street Fighter is made by Araika. Street Fighter Alpha? No, Street Fighter EX. Street Fighter EX plus Alpha. That game had like a V-ism, and then you have your what's the other one? You have V, which is the green. There's a blue one. I can't remember what that is. Maybe that was V-ism. I don't remember. Blue is where each character kind of, you can make like a custom combo. So like kind of like Yun from Street Fighter 3 has like this super where he can basically, he has no limit to his combos for a short period of time. So you can just tap jab or throw like a million Hadokens, and as long as you can fit them in to that time frame, you can throw as many as you could possibly throw out. And
that's actually kind of sick.
Yeah, it is pretty sick. And then the red or orange ism, which I believe is like the X ism, is more like Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. We have just one super. It does a lot of damage. And it's pretty mean. Now, I don't remember if this game, like on Capcom vs. SNK, when you picked a different ism, it gave you the ability to dodge roll or parry. I'm pretty sure parries are out. I don't remember if parries are in this game at all. I'm almost positive there are no parries.
There might be one or two like character-specific parries. I don't remember. It definitely was not a universal thing, I don't think.
Blanca's so well animated in this game, like the whole character design, how this character's designed and how he animates. is like everything I ever aspired to create as like a comic artist, is to try to draw characters that animate as well as like a character like Blanca does. This game here, let's see, like there's so many crossover characters in this game, and a lot of people like don't know like Street Fighter is kind of like a crossover to Final Fight. So Adon, which was in Street Fighter 1, he's in this. We have Akuma Ogoki, of course. All the bosses, Balrog and all them. Birdie, that's who you're seeing on the screen right now. Who, you know,
Looks completely
he's
different.
got the weirdest mohawk I've ever seen. He's got like a perfect hole in the middle of his mohawk. I don't even know how the hell you would even comb your hair to do that. And he runs a comb through his, or a switchblade through his hair. I don't know how the fuck you do that, but okay.
Todd has clearly not been has been a fan of Birdie in Street Fighter V. He's put on a good, couple 100 pounds.
Now, gameplay-wise, this is the best version of Blanca for me. And style-wise, he's definitely one of my favorite, next to Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V doesn't get a lot of credit from me. I don't like a lot of the character designs in Street Fighter V, but I think they knocked it out of the park with Blanca on Street Fighter V. You have Charlie or Nash, it's another one of those things with Capcom, like porting a game stateside. They kind of named the characters differently, and I think the movie might have had something to do with that. So Charlie or Nash, who's also in Street Fighter V. Chun-Li, I think she's been in every version of Street Fighter other than one. And in Street Fighter 3, she didn't show up in Street Fighter 3 right away. For some reason, they thought it was a wonderful idea to keep Chun-Li from Street Fighter 3, and fan backlash made that happen in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which is probably the one that I will probably cover, because I also have a lot of fond memories of Street Fighter 3. Cody, Guy, again, more characters from Final Fight that make their way on here. Of course, on the screen is Dan Hibiki, who's this is like his he had a bigger role in this game. He's the worst character ever, and I think like Sakura. A lot of people like Sakura a lot. To me, she's just Dan Hibiki. I've never been a big Sakura fan. Dan Hibiki is actually like a Ryo Sakazaki clone from the Art of Fighting and King of Fighter game series, where he's more of a joke character. DJ and E Honda, they're back, of course. Eagle is actually available in this game here also, but he's not on the original version of this game. He was not in the arcade version. Eagle was made available on the PlayStation 1. And Eagle comes from Street Fighter 1. Evil Ryu, also not available in the arcade version of this game, but made it into everything else. Somehow Fei Long was not in the original version of this game either, but is in the home console versions. DJ wasn't either, if I remember correctly. Gen, who's also from Street Fighter 1, he's in this. Guile was not in this original version of this game, but was in the PlayStation version. He's like this big selling character for whatever reason. I never really liked Guile all that much either. But he's a charged character, and I kind of like charged characters in Street Fighter games. Despite writing songs about, like, Hadokens and whatnot. Guy, he's another character from Street Fighter, from Final Fight. Rolento, here's another character here from Street Fighter Alpha. He's the elevator boss. And if he wins, you see all the bad guys at the top of the screen with the knives and shit. I used to hate those guys with the knives on Final Fight. Julie and Junie are like these they have those characters in the Street Fighter V story mode. They're just like M. Bison and Cammy clones. Kind of like the idea that they kind of took from Seth. Karen also comes from this game here. So Karen's first appearance in Street Fighter is in Street Fighter Alpha. Maki made it into a couple of versions of the game. She's also in Capcom vs. SNK 2. Let's see. Who else is in this? You got Shin Goki or Shin Akuma. T-Hawk. I never really liked him at all, really.
Don't forget Sadam.
Oh, yes. Sodom. Yeah, he's another Final Fight character. And then Yun from Street Fighter 3 actually made it into a version of this on the Game Boy Advance. There's like a Game Boy Advance selling character, or in the PlayStation Portable, I'm pretty sure. Along with another character that didn't make it into any other game other than Capcom Fighting All-Stars, and that's Ingrid. And Ingrid is pretty basic as a fighting game character. I didn't really care for her. She was supposed to be like the new savior for fighting game characters, but she's pretty basic. And so you won't see her in this. But there's wonderful Blanca. I just can't get over how he's animated. Of course, Guy from Final Fight, who I think Ziku is kind of mostly modeled after, as you can see from the Super right there.
I mean that, but Ziku's definitely got that Strider Hiryu Graham attack.
Oh, for sure. That's also borrowed from Guy, though. So, if you could take that for what it's worth. There's like a lot of stifling on this game too. That's another thing, like on a lot of these Street Fighter Alpha games, like this stifling, like that effect that they have, where they basically draw little squares to fill in color gaps, because this system was not able to draw transparency. So amazingly, I can't even believe like somehow like transparencies were like not like a baked-in feature of any arcade cabinet. Like where you can make colors that are see-through, where they had to like just basically animate the squares in different order to make them look transparent. It's a really ugly effect on most monitors. The only thing that it looks right on really is like a CRT. Yeah, Street Fighter Alpha definitely had a lot of iterations, but were mostly hard to find. PlayStation 1, it was also the one on PlayStation 1 had like this weird how they made that game is they basically took all the characters out of it and made like 3D polygonal wireframes, and then put the two-dimensional characters over top of it to make the game play at a 60 hertz refresh, even though that the characters couldn't animate in 60 hertz on a PlayStation, because the PlayStation 1 was not built with two-dimensional games in mind. So a lot of animations from this game got cut into Street Fighter Alpha on the PlayStation, but it was the first time that Capcom really nailed one of their fighters on the PlayStation. PlayStation had a very shit run for fighters on the PlayStation. There was a lot of SNK fighters that came out really, really gimped, where they just kind of just chopped out tons of animations to make these games run on PlayStation. That's where the Saturn had like a definite edge over the PlayStation. Unfortunately, the Saturn just didn't sell for shit here. I was just digging through some of my stuff, to kind of get my garage set up for this video, and my son's like digging through these boxes, and I've got like all these fighting systems in there. He's like, "What's this green system?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a Dreamcast. That's a Japanese Dreamcast." And then I have an American Dreamcast, and then I have a PlayStation 2, and like he asked me, "Oh, I didn't have a PlayStation 1." That's because PlayStations had backward compatibility back when that really mattered. And I think backward compatibility is totally going to matter this next generation.
Oh, absolutely. They've already said it will.
I think it'll be like the biggest selling factor for these next consoles is to have backward compatibility. I hope that PlayStation goes back all the way. Now, here's the thing about that. I have my thoughts about this, and no better person in the world to share this with. I have a lot of video games. You know this.
Yep.
And I've made a lot of purchases on the PlayStation 4, and I just was looking at my total purchase count. Guys, I'm not rich. I don't spend that much money on video games. PlayStation has like flash sales all the time. But I went through and like it gives you a count of how many games you've actually purchased on the PlayStation, and I am over 530 games purchased.
Ooh, damn, son.
And some of these are games that I've owned on other machines. I really hope going forward on the next generation of consoles, like games I bought on PlayStation 3. Of course, obviously you couldn't do that with PlayStation 2, but games that I bought on PlayStation 3, whether they're the PlayStation 1 classics or PlayStation 2 classics, any games I purchased on the PlayStation Store, what will be a make it or break it moment for backward compatibility is going to be whether or not my PlayStation Network purchases carry over. And I don't think anybody's talking about that. I hear about backward compatibility all the time, but I haven't heard a word about what people think that actually means. Does that mean you can take a native disc and drop it in and play it? That'd be great. That'd be awesome. I'm down with that. But what about all those games that we purchased digitally on the PlayStation 3? PlayStation 3 had a huge digital library. Not as big as like the Xbox 360, but it had a huge digital library. And that, like, a lot of those classics carried over. And I know you can, like, if you bought some of those classics between your PlayStation Vita and your PlayStation 3, you could play them with one purchase. But I wonder if they're going to make you pony up. So if I want to play Street Fighter Alpha 3 again on PlayStation 4, I mean, I can obviously play this version, right? When I tell you that the PlayStation 1 version, even though it has less animation, it's a way better game. They added like a world tour mode and all kinds of stuff to it. Am I going to have to purchase that game again? Or will that fact that I bought that on the PlayStation Network that many years ago still count toward my backward compatibility library?
I can tell you that if you bought it on the same account with the same email and you've never had to create a new PSN account, you've only used the one, you should probably be okay. But if you've ever had to like create a new one, you're kind of out of luck.
Now, see, I had never created a new PlayStation Network account. I only created it with the PlayStation 3. And I bought a lot of games through them then, you know. I don't think they will. I think they're going to make us buy them because of this remastering feature, and that the purchases won't necessarily count. That's what I think, because I know Sony has got a bad habit of this so far. We're only like, 5 consoles in, but if the track record shows, I bought games on PlayStation 3. Let's say a game that got remastered on PlayStation 3. I bought The Last of Us on PlayStation 3. And The Last of Us Remastered came out on PlayStation 4. Now, I had to buy that game again. And it sounds ridiculous. There's not many games that I've done that with. Look, I own a copy of SNK in every country it was ever made in. That's kind of that was for the longest time the exception to the rule I had of not buying the same game twice. And like since PlayStation 3 to 4 didn't have backward compatibility, that put a huge let's just say a huge dent in my wallet versus like would have been like if they would have just had backward compatibility right out of the gate. Xbox 360 on the other hand, I've noticed this is a trend, and this is kind of what makes me nervous about it. Like I own, here's a game that will probably not be on the backward compatibility list because it's not even on their list of games that are on the PlayStation Network or the Xbox 360 anymore, is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is an amazing beat 'em up. If you delete that game off the native console you deleted or bought it from, it is gone forever.
Really? I feel like I've seen that on the Xbox, like,
well, you have
games
it.
you can buy list. I've never bought it, and I know I've seen it on the list.
I'm almost positive it's gone because of the deal that they had with Universal Interactive. Another one is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's gone. The X-Men is gone. These are games that I have on my Xbox 360 that I'm just... The reason I still have an Xbox 360 is because if I want to play X-Men, the arcade version of X-Men, I'm not going to play that on anything else. I don't have anything else to play it on. I mean, I can always play it on an emulator. I'm not really big on emulators myself. Not that there's anything really necessarily wrong with it. If the game doesn't exist anymore, what are you going to play it on? How would you buy that game? So, you know, I guess, you know, there's a reason why there's emulators out there. I'm not a big fan of emulators, but what that you can do on them, you know, sounds cool. And so like that's what makes me think like there's some games I would probably want to revisit on the PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1 on the next generation of consoles. But if I gotta buy them again, I'm gonna be pretty salty. I'm gonna be like a bag of pretzels, man.
Well, if you really, really need to play it, you'll probably just get over it. That's how they know they got you.
No, I just think like, you know, like I think Xbox has got like a good thing going with what they're planning on, because even that has yet to be seen, right? Like the Xbox Series X has to have, like if they're talking full backward compatibility going all the way back to the original Xbox, which that's kind of something that they've kind of confirmed loosely. Does that mean like a game like Capcom versus SNK, which I also own on the Xbox? Can I play that on the Xbox Series X? Like, that would be awesome.
I would bet dollars to donuts that any game you can currently play on an Xbox 360 or Xbox One system, you'll play on the next one.
That's what I think too, and I think that they'll add games over time, and games that don't have licenses or don't have like have a shared license or any kind of agreement between another company, like a lot of movie tie-in games. Thankfully, most of them suck, but you know, there's some property tie-ins. Like I said, Ninja Turtles, you're not gonna play the arcade beat 'em up Ninja Turtles game because Konami doesn't own it no more. You know, Nickelodeon Games or whatever the hell owns it now. So you're not getting that version of that game anymore, even if you already purchased it. To me, that sounds like that's a raw deal for digital gaming. That's the one thing about digital gaming. I think that we're not too far from a completely digital ecosystem for video games. Definitely not far. But those are the small caveats to that.
We're definitely there as like we could easily pull it off, but there's definitely still a avenue for people that like the physical things in their hands.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be console gaming anymore. I think console gaming is going to kind of slowly move away from that. I mean, they kind of been moving away from it.
I can count the number of people I know that even buy physical media at all on my hands. Like, it's just not a thing that you do.
I know, I take up one of those fingers, I'm sure, so...
yeah, usually the middle one.
Yeah. No, like, I fighting games, I buy digitally, but I was afraid to buy Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite digitally because of that exact reason. So like if Capcom fucks that license up, and they kind of did, like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, even though Capcom has that license, they didn't even bother porting that to the current generation of consoles. They very easily could have. If Capcom liked money as much as they kind of come off as, they absolutely could have released that game.
Well, maybe that's what we're going to get out of Evo is, oh, hey, by the way, here's the 20th anniversary version that is now available on Xbox, Steam, and PSN.
Yeah, I think which is already was available on those platforms before, which irritates the shit out of me. Like, I wonder if like anybody had that game on PC. I don't know if it was ever available on PC.
I don't think it was officially available. Obviously, you can get emulators and whatnot, but I
Right.
don't think it was. I think Xbox 360 was the last time 2 was ever put on like an actual system.
Yeah, that's gonna be a real. I think that'd be a real shit show. I don't know. I'll buy it again because I'm stupid. There's fighting games in me. Like I buy clearly different versions of every single one of them all the time.
Who are you talking to? I've bought Dragon Ball Fighters 3 times, so.
Yeah, you did. You did. Well, you just finally joined the club. That's all. You know, you get like that fighting game that you can't kind of live without. And you got to play it on multiple systems to get in on it. You have it on the Switch?
Oh hell no.
Okay, it's good on the Switch.
I would never play a fighting game on the Switch other than Smash Bros. And that's not a fighting game. That's a party game that people try to make into a fighting game.
I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air on how I feel about Smash Brothers being a fighting game. I think it is. You know, I think it is. You know, it does take a degree of skill.
It is. I give it shit because that's how I play it. I prefer playing that as a party game with Smash Balls and items and all that. But let's be real. I mean, you got Mario punching Ganondorf and Terry Bogard in the face. So,
yeah,
come on.
Lots of Fire Emblem characters. Lots of Fire Emblem representation. Which I can't believe they wasted. In my opinion, I think they wasted their last character slot on this first season on a fucking Fire Emblem character when there's like, what? There's already like 6 Fire Emblem characters in that game? So now they have 7?
They're really trying to recorner that market because Fire Emblem as a series was dying before Awakening and Chrom and all that came out, and now that it's been revitalized, they're just trying to keep hitting the money pinata as much as possible.
That's Nintendo right there for you.
Yes, sir.
Keep hitting it till the coins stop falling out. Yeah, I think I think Dragon Ball Fighters is represented pretty well on the Switch. I like it. It's pretty alright. Hi, somebody joined the party. What's up? I hear Dragon Ball or something all of a sudden now.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, Steven Universe. Oh, you must be wanting to talk to Jake. Jake is actually in bed, homie. I am actually playing Street Fighter.
No fucking way. You're a person like that too?
I am.
Jay calls me a weirdo. Jay calls me a weirdo about doing that, playing Street Fighter still.
Oh, he likes Street Fighter.
Oh, so now I know something. Ooh.
I mean, I don't know if he's any good at it, but he likes it.
Probably why he doesn't. That's why he makes fun of me.
He may. He may. He could. He could. You guys yell at each other like crazy. You guys play these games. You guys got to learn to have fun. Well, that's like you guys play like what, Rainbow Six? Yeah, yeah. Wow. See, I can't play a game like that. Makes me that frustrated. I tend to try to play games to have fun mostly. Well, I'm Jay technically. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the Rage of Youth.
All right. Hey, man, we're gonna hop off of here, and I'll have Jake hop on with you later. All right, homie. Bye.
Well, that's one way to end your broadcast.
Yeah.
Just God,
No, like my son will get on there and they play, and they yell at each other like, and you can obviously tell like that kid like he's an F-bomb away from getting like expulsed from school forever. You know, like I'm like Jake, don't you ever let me catch you talking like that? And he's like, oh, no, I don't talk like that.
yeah, bull.
Yeah. He's gonna watch this. He's gonna watch this stream tomorrow. And be like, "Oh, my friend hopped on." Ugh. I'm surprised his friend didn't rat him out. You think I got a bad mouth? You haven't heard nothing. Sit here, Jake, at the playground.
It's like F this, F that, F my dad. Whoa, wait, now what'd you say?
What? All right, man. Let's segue to one more. Or are you out?
I'm out. I gotta.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta head out and get ready for bed and all that shit and work and I gotta go with that grind.
Yeah, I got work tomorrow too. I'll tell you what, man. If you feel like it, maybe we'll pick this up at Street Fighter 3 tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah, I can do tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'll be busy though. So, but we can probably knock it out tomorrow.
Yeah, there's only like 3 more technically, so yeah, got some good footage that we can use just to have playing in the background. But now I've got 2 videos that got dancing fucking happy faces now because of interruptions.
And one little screaming child, so bonus.
Hey, you won't hear any of that. and then like when this because this is gonna be in the YouTube archive, like unless I find out how to delete them afterwards. Like
even if you can't delete them, you can make them private. So
right, well they'll always be up here somewhere. We can hear like that kid come on and just totally rage it out like he's playing Rainbow Six Siege.
You know what? That would actually be fucking sick as like a background Easter egg for your video is to have like a cut of one of the characters in one of the Street Fighter attract modes getting just beat on, and you hear this little kid just rage, just go fuck you. Like that's the authentic arcade experience right there.
Oh yeah, like the kids, like they're like possessed or something. Like like I'm just waiting for him to be like, your mother sucks cocks in hell, and start puking all over his microphone and shit. Well, some of the kids that my son plays with, man, I if I come home from work and they're playing Rainbow Six Siege, I literally want to take my PlayStation in all the 500 plus games that are on it and just chuck that fucker out a window. And I'm not like the most clean person in the world. I wrote a song where like the other half of the song is literally just saying the word fuck. And it's enough to make me blush with these kids. I'm like, wow. And like
you always got the next generation always have to one up you. Like the shit you were saying was making your folks and then, all the old people back then freak out. So, what do you expect the new kids or the kids saying these days?
I know. I feel like a hypocrite too. I'm like, Jake, you got to use your words right. And then like my son, when he gets old enough, he's gonna start like thumbing through my records and stuff, and maybe he'll fucking take a listen to it. I don't think he cares.
That's
one
why
bit
you
now.
can't. That's why you just gotta let him know that like. You can't just run around screaming "fuck this, fuck that" because nobody cares. At least be creative.
Use your
when
words,
you're
man.
Trying to be salty. Yeah.
Use your words, man.
Come up with a unique way to be salty. Don't just spit venom.
Yeah, you can't be spitting hot fire, Dylon. You gotta chill the fuck out. Alright, man. Well, I think this is gonna be sufficient footage for what we're trying to achieve here. And then, hopefully everybody will get to see what all this means later, and you'll probably barely tell what any of this is in the actual video. So, hooray! Alright, Rick, I will talk to you later.
All right. See you later, man.
Bye, homie.
See you.